Bisectors, medians, and altitudes. So we have a few theorems here and some vocab that we need to be aware of. The first term is equidistant. Things are equidistant if they're the same distance from each other. So it says that when a point is the same distance from two or more objects, that point is said to be equidistant. That's equal and distant put together. Theorems that come from this. The perpendicular bisector theorem. If a point is on the perpendicular bisector of a segment, then it is equidistant from the endpoints, meaning this point here was on the perpendicular bisector, therefore it's equidistant from A and B. In other words, these two segments are equal. That is, XA equals XB. If a point is on the perpendicular bisector, then it is equidistant from the endpoints. The converse is also true. If a point is equidistant from the endpoints of a segment, so this point is the same distance from the two endpoints of the segment, then it is on the perpendicular bisector. Why is this true? Look at the top theorem. Notice that if we erase our lines and look at the two triangles that are created by the perpendicular bisector, you'll notice those two triangles share a line. In other words, we have a reflexive property going on, and the two triangles both have a right angle. So what we have is side, right angle, angle, side. So the two triangles are congruent. And CPCT, the corresponding parts of congruent triangles, are congruent. That's why XA and XB are congruent. This is a theorem that's handy, that we use once in a while, but you can look at it and know from congruent triangles that those two segments, that's XA and XB, have to be congruent. These two theorems are basically the same exact thing, except we're dealing with, instead of a perpendicular bisector, an angle bisector. I remind you again that to find the distance from a point to another point, I have to go along a perpendicular. The shortest distance is always along a perpendicular. Let's read the theorem. If a point is on the perpendicular bisector of a theorem, then it is equidistant from the sides of the angle. So they're telling us that this one is congruent to this one. This is called the angle bisector theorem. We can see why this is true because if you look at the two triangles, what I have is an angle, that is the right angle. I have an angle, remember that is a bisector, so there's two equal angles there, and they share a side. So the two triangles are congruent by angle, angle, side. Once we know the two triangles are congruent, we know that any corresponding part is congruent. That is, AC and BC are equal or congruent. If a point is on the angle bisector, then it is equidistant from the sides of the angle. Distance is always measured along a perpendicular. The converse is also true. If a point is on the interior of an angle and is equidistant from the sides of the angle, then it is on the angle bisector. Why is this true? If you look at the picture, you'll notice that they share a side, and you might go, oh, that's angle side side. No, that doesn't work, remember? Angle side side is the bad word. However, we do have something called hypotenuse leg. Hypotenuse leg says that if the hypotenusi are congruent, that's how you say it, that's the side they share, and one of the legs is congruent, then the triangles are congruent. And if the triangles are congruent, then we know these corresponding parts are congruent. Some more vocab. When three or more lines intersect at a point, the lines are said to be concurrent. The point of concurrency is the point where they intersect. That would be this one here. In this case, the point of concurrency is called the circumcenter. And the circumcenter you get by finding the perpendicular bisectors of all the sides. In any triangle you create, if you perpendicularly bisect each side, that means each point is a midpoint, and I draw up the perpendicular, they will always be concurrent, and that point is the circumcenter. And what is the circumcenter? It's the center of the circumscribed circle. There's our vocabulary word. So in this picture right here, we can see that this point, the circumcenter, is found by perpendicularly bisecting the sides, and that point would, from there, would create a perfect circle. The radius length would either be PB or PA or PC, because those are all equal. PA, PB, and PC are all the same. And using that as a radius length, I can draw a perfect circle. Normally, I always, at the end of the year, do this construction with students. But what you need to know is that the circumcenter is the point that's equidistant from the vertices. And to find a point equidistant from the vertices, you perpendicularly bisect the sides. Bisect the sides, you get a point equidistant from the vertices. Think of them as the angles themselves. Bisect the sides, you get a point equidistant from the angles. And you'll discover why I'm saying it that way. It'll help you remember. This next one is the Ncenter. If we bisect the angles, we get a point equidistant from the sides. So you heard me say a little bit ago that the circumcenter is equidistant from the vertices. And I perpendicularly bisect the sides to get a point equidistant from the angles. Well, to find a point equidistant from the sides, I bisect the angles. You're flipping it around. So the Ncenter is the center of the inscribed circle. Inscribed means it's inside. What you need to know about the Ncenter is it's the center of the inscribed circle. To do that, to find that, I find the angle bisectors, and they are all concurrent. They all intersect at one point, and that point is equidistant from the sides. The Ncenter is the center of the inscribed circle. To find the Ncenter, we find a point that is equidistant from the sides. To do that, we bisect the angles. To find a point equidistant from the sides, bisect the angles. Remember that distance is measured along a perpendicular. So when I look at the Ncenter in this triangle ABC here, if I drop a perpendicular to each side of the triangle, that distance would all be the same, and I could draw a perfect circle that would touch each side. We'd say that it was tangent on each side. Tangent means touching. Next, we have the median of a triangle. The median is a segment from any vertice to the midpoint of the opposite side. Notice that AD is congruent to DB in that picture. And if I draw in all the medians, they are concurrent. They intersect at a point. This point is the center of gravity. If you made a triangular table, it could be a weird shaped triangle, but if I found the Ncenter by connecting each vertex with the midpoint of the opposite side, and if assuming it was all made of the same material and the same density, you could balance it perfectly on your finger. And that would be where the one support would be for that table. That would balance it perfectly. The intersection of the medians of a triangle is called the centroid. And it turns out that it breaks each median up into two segments that are both 2/3 and 1/3 of the whole segment. So this part from the vertex to the centroid is 2/3 of the segment, and that last part is 1/3 of the whole segment. So if you break a segment, let's say AY was equal to 12. If I take 12 and break it into 3 equal parts, divide it by 3, you get 4. I know that AP would be 2 of those, it would be 8. And I know that PY would be 1 of those, it would be 4. And together, 8 and 4 make the whole length of 12. That's an example. Here are 3 medians. Let's take a look at the median CX or XC. This part from the vertex to the centroid is 2/3 of the entire segment. If I told you the segment was 12, then PC would be 2/3 of 12. Well, take 12 divided by 3, you get 4, and 4 times 2, you get 8. So this piece would be 8. And the other piece would be 1/3. So that's PX would be 1/3, and 1/3 of 12 would be 4. If BZ was 15, from here to here is 15, I know that this piece from the vertex to the centroid is 2/3 of the segment. Then we'll define BP, we'll take 2/3 of 15. Break 15 into 3 equal parts, that's 5. 5 times 2 is 10. So this piece is 10. The bottom piece, PZ, is 1/3, and 1/3 of 15 is 5. If median AY was 18, break 18 into 3 equal parts. 18 divided by 3 is 6. Take 2 of those and you get 12. That's 2 6s. And one of those would be 1/3 of 18 is 6. Notice how 12 and 6 make 18. The last point of concurrency we have is the orthocenter. That's a Greek word. Ortho means straight, upright, right. Another word for perpendicular is orthogonal. So when you see ortho, think perpendicular. Like the orthodontist, he makes your teeth straight, that's true, but he makes your teeth perpendicular to your jaw. So the intersection of the perpendiculars, that's when I take a vertex and I drop a perpendicular to the opposite side. All 3 of those are concurrent. Now in this case, look at the picture. The triangle is actually obtuse. The triangle is triangle RQS, and the perpendiculars, that's YX and RX. Now notice what they had to do, look right here, was extend side QS so that I could drop a perpendicular to that dotted line because I couldn't make one in the triangle. Right here's my perpendicular. So the altitude, which is another word for height, altitude is just the height of the triangle, but it's the height using a particular base. So the height or altitude of triangle RQS for side QS is RX. And then look at side RQ and notice the dashed line. They had to extend that side out with the dashed line, and the perpendicular from S to that dashed line right here is again outside the triangle. But all these 3 of these perpendiculars intersect, in this case, outside the triangle. It can be inside. I'll show you an example in a second. This is the orthocenter, the intersection of the 3 perpendiculars. Remember that altitude is just another word for height. So when we say 1/2 base times height to find the area of a triangle, we're saying 1/2 base times the altitude. Here's an example for an acute triangle. If we take from a vertex and we drop a perpendicular to the opposite side, and notice the right angle, and we do that for all 3, they are concurrent, they intersect at a point, and that point is called the orthocenter. Ortho, think perpendicular. The orthocenter is the point of concurrency for the three altitudes.